We are here with Olivia today and we're going to be doing a tape extension transformation. My name is Drea. I'm the founder of Line 1 Hair and the owner of Bomane Salon in Beverly Hills. And I'm super excited to show you guys this method. Olivia's been probably my most requested look this whole year. With her longer hair and the layers, it's going to be a really great haircut for you to see. It's going to be a really quick and easy transformation for you guys to apply to your clients in the salon. I have been specializing in extensions for over 15 years. I've really the past few years grown to love tape extensions, but it took me quite a long time to figure out how to work them into my clients' looks and how to really properly utilize them. The placement is so key so that clients still have that flexibility that they're used to with individual extensions. And what I love most about tape extensions is you can really create a dramatic transformation with the hair in a really short period of time. And they seem to be very easy for clients to care for at home, and the maintenance is also really simple. They can also be a bit more cost effective for clients because the hair can be retaped and reused every 6 to 8 weeks. Let's get started so that you can learn Olivia's new look and apply it to your clients at home in the salon. Okay, so here we have the extensions that we're going to be using on Olivia. I've mentioned this in past videos, but when you are going to test if the hair is the right length, you really want to make sure that you're testing it around the occipital bone of the hair to make sure that you're going to get the length that you need. This is 22 inch, so this will kind of be the shortest place that it's going to fall. That's going to work really great for me to blend in the layers. In the back, it's going to sit around here. And that's really gonna give her the ultimate long length that we are wanting. 18 inch would not be suitable for this look. It is tempting sometimes to use a shorter length in the front, but you actually need the longer length in the front because that is where the hair is going to reach the shortest point of the head. So you really need the longer pieces in the front so that you can really get in there, do a proper haircut, and really tailor it to each client. Okay, so organization, keeping everything really clean is so important for a pro application. And whether your clients mention it or not, they definitely notice what your tray is looking like and how organized and clean everything is staying throughout the process. Okay, so we're gonna go over client consultation. This is one of my favorite aspects and one of the most important parts in having a successful end result for you and your client. I utilize a stool a lot when I'm doing a consultation. It kind of puts you down at the client's level and it's a bit less intimidating for them to share what they're thinking and what their hopes are for the end result. I am very familiar with Olivia. She's a friend of mine, but we're gonna go through the consultation like she has not been in before and not, knowing what she's gonna be getting today. Okay, so what are we thinking for today? Do we wanna go long? Do we wanna go just fullness?
Long. And maybe a little fullness, but I don't need too much fullness. I just really like the length. And I feel like the side bangs are perfect. They're the curtain bangs for volume.
So cute. Are we gonna trim them or do you wanna leave them how they are?
I think they're perfect right now.
Okay, so what Olivia said and what is so important of that whole conversation, what I got is that she does not need more fullness. So she likes how her natural hair is. I can relate. I also don't like too much hair in my head. So we really need to take that into how we're going to apply the extensions. We cannot pack the hair in. She will not like the look of it no matter how much we cut it. It won't be what she wants. She really just told me that she wants exactly what she has, but she wants longer. Do you wear your hair up a lot?
Sometimes, yeah, I have to for work. I have to do a slick back sometimes, but.
Okay, that's good to know. Like all the way up or just like down and back?
Sometimes all the way up. Okay. But it's been working. Okay, yeah,
So again, another key takeaway that I just took of that is that she, for her job, needs to wear her hair all the way up, sometimes slicked back. So what that means is I'm not gonna be able to get the extensions super close to the hairline. Like we did in a previous application on Olga, that was not the case, so I was really able to put them closer to the hairline. With Olivia today, that's not an option. And I also know that she likes her layered haircut, so that's really gonna work in our favor because we're gonna be able to layer in the longer hair really naturally and keep this really nice layering that she has around here. She's not looking for a one length around the front, so I'm not gonna go in and pack extensions around her hairline to try and hide this. We're really going to work with this and blend it into her overall look so that it looks like her length did just grow, but she still has all the nice layers around her face. So again, sectioning, another really key part in having not only a successful extension application, but also one that is really respectful of the client's time, of your time. You really want to be methodical in your application and get through it kind of as quick as possible because no one likes sitting in the chair for a long time. When I section for tape extension application, I will section from the ear forward, and then I do the back in one big section. So this is going to be our section number 1. I am only going to put one piece here and one piece here, not in the middle part, because the hair right here is not thick enough. It doesn't need it. And again, she doesn't want too much fullness. So we're really just trying to mask her hair and put in the least amount of extensions possible. So like I always do, I'll be starting in the back, doing the back section. We'll probably do about 4 rows. I'll move to the left front section and then the right front section. This is McKenna. She's going to be helping me today. She's one of our lovely stylists at Bomane.
Hello, my name is McKenna. I'm a stylist here at Bomane Salon. I will be assisting Drea today with this tape-in application.
Okay, so we're gonna start Olivia's tape application. I'm using 2 colors. One of them was custom glossed a little bit darker because she has this, again, really unique brunette color that is a little bit cooler, and I really wanted to make sure that the blend was very seamless. So throughout the application, I'll be doing the lighter color on top and the darker piece on the bottom. So we're gonna go ahead and start with that now. This is the lighter piece. This again is what our seamless tapes look like. I designed them to be a bit smaller than most tapes that you'll see, and to have the hair actually coming out of the tape on the top and the bottom so that no matter what, it's always seamless. So if you have to flip it up, like Olivia was mentioning that she has to do at work, you're never gonna see tape. It's always gonna be hair. And once I put it in the head, you'll be able to see the difference that it makes. It really does make them more seamless so that you're able to have that more flexibility with the styles that you do at home, whether it's half up or all the way up. Once you put them in the head, they really do kind of disappear, which is always the goal. So we're gonna go over just really basic steps of how to apply a tape-in extension. I would say one of the biggest mistakes I see are people putting them too tight to the scalp, which is such a no for me because it can cause damage. And it really is your responsibility as an extension artist to make sure that you are growing the client's hair fuller, healthier, longer while they have the extensions in. And the number 1 step to doing that is making sure that you have a clean section and that you are not putting it too close to the scalp. It will not make it last longer. It will just pull their natural hair out. It will be uncomfortable and it will unfortunately cause damage. So we're gonna go in and we're just gonna do a nice zoom in so that you can see. So all of these little extra hairs cannot be in the application. I've already used a clip to clip up the extra hairs, but you really have to be meticulous and go that extra step to get every single little hair out so that they have 1, a comfortable wear of the extensions, and 2, a safe wear with the extensions. So you just really want to gently tap it on like that. And what that does is pick up the exact amount of hair that needs to go in between the tapes. If you put too much, they will fall out, and if you put too little, it can pull the natural hair out, which is not what we want. So we're going to just flip this up, and then we're going to pull out any extra hairs that want to pop with it. But once I flip it up, you can really easily see what needs to come out. So there's just like 1 or 2 stray hairs that, again, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would cause like a little bit of minor pinching and a little bit of discomfort, which is not what we want. And then we're just gonna go ahead and put the other tape right on top of it. So again, you really want to take the time to align it. If it's not perfect, you're not done. You really can't settle for anything less than having a perfect application with the tapes. So you just want to really gently line it up at the bottom of the tape and then press it. And then that's it. You can really see how it really just disappears into the hair when we do that. I really like what I chose here because the bottom color matches exact with her color, and the lighter color is a nice little sprinkle of a highlight. But I actually am gonna change up my pattern, and for the rest of the application, I'm gonna do the dark on top and the light on the bottom so that it more is like a peek out of a highlight. But I am going to keep what I did right here because when she pulls her hair forward, I wanna make sure that it blends with her natural hair. Okay, so we finished row 1. We're gonna go ahead and take our tape-in applicator, and we're going to make sure that there is no air in between the tapes and make sure that they're sealed properly. So you just go in, I usually go in twice, and just make sure that everything's sealed enough so that you don't have to use your fingers to do it. It also gives a really nice even tension when you're sealing them. So some people skip this step. It's a really important step. I always make sure that I do it every row. I go ahead and apply the extensions, and then I go ahead and seal them at the same time, and that does save time in the end instead of stopping and doing each step by itself. I found that it does cut out like a good amount of time during the application. So this is row 1. I know from experience that I do not need an extension right here. because I'm gonna go ahead and fill that in on the next row, and she did let me know that she doesn't want too much hair in. So this is really just gonna cover those corners of her own hair and blend that in, and then we're gonna start addressing the fullness on the next row. And I always like to tell people during our line 1 hair classes that you can always go back and add more hair. So that is always something to keep in mind. So if you're like, oh no, like I definitely think I need hair there, I would just finish the whole application, take everything down, smooth it out, and then really assess the situation from there instead of just packing in more hair than you think you're gonna need. Okay, so now we're ready for row 2 of the application. So this is more of a blunt line. So I'm gonna show you guys what to do if your client does come in and they have more of a blunt line in their hair like this. You can apply, but from experience, I would say that it is a lot better for the client, especially if they're wanting more of a natural application, to just soften the ends. And that does not mean to take your texturizer shears in there and cut out tons of their bulk. It really just means to take the last inch of the hair and just gently soften it so that they have a seamless application. So I really like a texturizing shear with a finer tooth on it to really let us get a really nice blend. So the finer the tooth is on your texturizing shear, the more you're gonna be able to kind of soften that really blunt end. This is not a very blunt end, but it does need to be softened before we keep going. So I'll just pick up the section that is kind of bothering my eye before we start. I really tend to never texturize right around the nape area. That can cause the clients to get a lot of tangling in their hair. So I'm just kind of picking up the section that I see, and we're going to elevate it a little bit. And again, you're just doing that last little inch of hair to soften it a tiny bit. And that's all you need to make sure that you get that seamless blend in the end. So like always for this section, we're gonna go ahead and start with our middle section so that we can get the pieces on the sides even. We're gonna go one in the middle, one to the left side, and one to the right side. This is actually a really good example to show you guys of how many flyaways can happen during the sectioning process. This is totally normal. It's just regrowth, everyone has it. I used to fight with it. Now that I know the trick, you just wanna pull all of the hair down at the nape of the head, and then that makes it super easy to grab those flyaways from where they're starting. And then in one little swoop, you can really get everything out of the way and get prepped for a nice clean application and a nice clean section. So just like that, all of those flyaways are away. I like to do it section by section. It saves me time instead of putting a bunch of clips in the hair and trying to make everything super clean. Then by the time you get to that side, you bump something and more flyaways occur. So I just find it more time friendly to just section and think about what's right in front of me at the time. So like I mentioned, we're gonna go ahead and switch up our color application to do the darker on top and the lighter on the bottom. So we're gonna go in there and just apply like we have been doing. So again, super clean section when you're putting the tapes in. This is the exact amount of hair that you want in between the sections. Anything less than that is gonna be not enough to hold the tapes in there for the 6 to 8 weeks. And anything more than that is really going to put you at risk for the tape slipping out, which is another really common problem I see. It's also really uncomfortable. So if a client is saying that their hair is pulling, you most likely put too much hair in between because it's pulling from too wide of an area on the head. Okay, so now we're on to row 3 of the application. This is another really good example of checking the hair, the color. Everything looks really good. You can slightly see the break in the hair. That is not enough to use the texturizing shears on. So I would leave this alone because we wanna avoid doing that if it's not necessary. In this case, it is not necessary. So we're gonna go ahead and apply this row and just make sure that everything keeps blending as perfectly as it has been. I know that we're gonna do 5 pieces of tapes on this row. So we're gonna go ahead and start in the middle. I'm going to do 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, I know that because of the space on the head, that's how many I'm gonna do. So you're gonna go in straight in the middle and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I am applying the extensions, when I go ahead and do what would be number 3 on the left side and number 5 on the right side, I wanna make sure that I'm getting enough coverage in this area, but I don't wanna go too close to her hairline. So when I apply this piece, that's really what I'm thinking of. So I know that I'm gonna go in right about there, and that's gonna dictate the next piece that I do. So that's really something to keep in mind when I'm doing the application. I'm really always thinking of getting the exact amount of coverage without putting in too much hair. So you want to make sure that you address the outer corners first and then move inward, because you can always adjust that piece, but you can't adjust the outside piece. Okay, so we've just finished row 3. We're going to move on to row 4. I'm really happy with the blend. You really cannot see the break in her hair anymore, which is so nice and what we're looking for. She doesn't want too much hair in. I am gonna put one more row in, and then we're gonna move on to the sides. I already know that it's going to blend really nicely after this row. We're gonna go ahead and put in 5 more pieces, and then we're going to move on to the sides. Okay, so we've just finished up the last row in the back. It's looking exactly like we want it to look. So we are all good in the back. I'm really happy with this application so far. The application is such an important part of, the whole picture of the extension service, and you really want to make sure that you are getting it right. Again, Olivia wanted more of a fine application. She didn't want there to be too much hair packed in. A nice little trick is to kind of feather the hair out and see if you can see the line of demarcation. You can't, so we know that we're on the right path, and we're going to take down what's left over of her hair, smooth it out, and then move to the left front section. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the left front side of the application. We are going to make sure that we, again, stay away from her hairline a little bit, because she does have to wear her hair all the way up. So a good measure is about a 2-finger spacing from the hairline. That is going to be really great for the one tape that we want to put right there. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3 up to the top, and then we will meet you guys back and show you what the final result is before the cut. So we're on the last section of the left front application, and because Olivia said that she wants it to not feel thicker, instead of putting another piece of tape on this, we're actually going to go in with the Line 1 backings, which I absolutely love because they allow you to blend the hair without adding too much fullness. And they're really just like a clear backing that allows you to just seal the top piece without needing another piece on the bottom. So you just nicely seal it. So again, what that does is just allow you to get the blending without the bulk, which is exactly what she wants. They lay a little bit flatter to the head, which is nice in the front, and it just gives us the exact look that we're needing. Okay, so I did go in, I let the hair down, I looked at it, and I decided she needed one more piece just to help it blend on this side, because she does wear her hair slightly parted to the left, so it is her heavier side. So we just went in and did one more single-sided piece right here, just so that when I cut her hair, she'll still have that drama in the front and really be able to blend in her layers seamlessly. We're gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing on the right front side, and then we're going to come back and show you guys my absolute favorite part of the whole process, which is the haircut. Okay, so we're about to start the cut. I like to break down a few simple steps that will really help you at home when you are in your salon doing your clients. So a nice little trick is to make sure that you have hair in the back and section the hair in the front also, so that you can make sure that you have enough hair in on the sides. You want to make sure that people aren't having to part the hair all the way in the back and put it to the front to make the hair look full enough in front. I see clients doing that a lot, and you want to make sure that you could wear your extensions like you would your natural hair. So you'd have, your hair in the front and also the hair in the back, and have it be what you want it to be. So we are of course going to layer this in. It's going to look like Olivia's natural hair, and then she's also going to have enough fullness in the back also, so that she's not having to constantly pull it forward to get that full look that she's wanting. When I am cutting extensions, you always cut them dry. I like to use my arc scissors. They are the Paragon 2 dry cutting scissors, and we're just going to go in section by section. So I like to have someone hold up the extensions as I move through the haircut to save me time. If you don't have an assistant, you can just clip up the sections, it's no problem. So we're gonna go ahead and take that first piece of tape around her face and find exactly where her hair stops. Give a little bit of leeway so we make sure that we're not cutting her hair, and just blend the extensions all the way down. I'm really not addressing the length right now, I'm addressing the layers. So that is a very, very important part. You want to make sure that you're pulling it forward and you can't see the break. I still can see the break a little bit, so I'm just going to pick that up and layer it down a little bit more so that there's really no break at all with the natural hair in the extensions. That looks exactly like I want it to. And then we're going to move on to the next section and do the same thing. So again, you really just want to make sure that you're leaving out the natural hair so that clients aren't getting their natural haircut. No one wants that. They want to make sure that when they have their extensions out, their hair has grown, it's become healthier, it's become fuller. That is probably one of the other top mistakes I see made is extension artists accidentally cutting the hair. So we just want to be really mindful of that. It is also helpful to pull up the piece that you're working on if you're unsure of if it's blending or not, and just pull it out separately from the rest of the hair. So we're gonna go ahead and blend that in a bit more until I see it laying exactly where I want it to lay. So we're just gonna take that final section, pull it forward, over direct it to the front, find the natural break, slide cut it down. You can see I'm just gently moving my thumb and nothing else. So we're gonna go ahead and mirror the exact same technique on the right side, and then we're gonna move to the back and adjust the length. So we're gonna pull it down until we can see the break in her natural hair and just blend all the way down. And you wanna make sure that you're layering it enough in the front. I am gonna lose a little bit of length, but that's fine because I know with the application that I did, we're gonna get a lot of the length from the back of the head. So that piece looks really nice. I can't see any break in the extensions or her natural hair, so we're gonna move on to the next section. And just do the same thing, find the natural break in her hair and just gently layer it all the way down. And onto the final section. This is the piece that you really want to make sure that you layer enough because it's going to be the connect on the top. So once we style it, the layers will pop out a little bit more, but you can see that there's a really nice blend in the front and you can't see where the extensions start and her hair stop, which is the goal. So when we're done, we're gonna finish her off with like a natural bouncy blowout and you're really gonna be able to see the layers pop. So let's go ahead and move to the back of the head and address the length. So we're just gonna take our bioprogramming straight and go ahead and smooth out the back a little bit more. Olivia just mentioned how shiny her hair has been getting throughout the application, and it is from the treatment device. I love these, it's all that we use in the salon. And I would highly recommend them. They're such an asset when you're applying extensions. So with the application that we did on Olivia, again, she wants it to look not too thick or full. So I'm gonna start by blending the pieces on the top. So I'm gonna grab the piece on the top from the last row, her hair, and then we're just gently gonna layer it down. The next piece is right here. Again, just gently layering it down. This is really just the first connection of the hairs. You want to make sure that there is no break in the natural hair. The hair that is on the top row is not for fullness, it's really just for connecting the haircut. So that was just the final piece of the first row on top, which had 5 pieces of tape in it. And so now we can really bring the front pieces back and start to look at where we want the length to end for her. So just by looking at it, I think I'm gonna go in and take about that much off, just so that she has enough fullness on the ends and the length will still be there. It's still gonna be really long. So let's go in there and just kind of trim up the bottom a little bit. You always wanna make sure when you're trimming up the bottom that you're using a point cutting technique to keep the ends soft like they are now. Okay, so after we just kind of even out the bottom of where we want to see the length, I like to pull everything forward and just check how it's looking from the front. So we're gonna spin Olivia around and just pull everything forward so that we can make sure that we check the length from the front also, and just kind of layer in the back to those front sections that we cut. So you can just gently pull everything forward. Everything is blending really beautifully. We are just trying to make sure that everything connects to the front. But I'm really happy with how everything is blending so far. And again, just those little details. You can always cut more, so I always err on the side of caution when I'm cutting the length and let the client look at it so that they don't get nervous. They're paying a lot of money for them, so we want to make sure that we leave it as long as they're really envisioning it in their head. So that's usually the little corner that you're looking to get off once you bring everything forward. Again, you're usually working with a slide cutting technique or a point cutting technique to make sure everything stays really soft. And then once you do pull everything to the front, I can't even find the piece that we put in at the nape because everything is blending so seamlessly right here. But this is kind of what you're looking for to make sure it blends. But we did such a great application that you really don't need any blending in there at all. It looks really nice. Okay, so we're gonna spin Olivia around and let her see the length on her body and see if she's feeling okay with it or if it's feeling too long.
I love it. I think it's perfect, yeah.
Okay, amazing. So she's liking the length. I'm really happy with the length also. We're going to go ahead and style her. It's gonna pop up a little bit when we style her, but you wanna make sure that your client doesn't have to have their hair styled in order to feel comfortable. So I do like to also, just to be safe, take off the cutting cape and let them see it actually on their body also, not just with the cutting cape on. So we'll just let her look at it.
I'm obsessed. This is how long it was last time too. Perfect. I love it.
Okay, so she's loving it. She feels comfortable and confident with it straight also. We're gonna go ahead and do that nice bouncy blowout look that she loves to finish her off, and we'll meet you guys back. Okay, so when we are finishing the extension application, it does take a little bit longer, but it makes such a difference if you just go the extra way and really put a really nice style in it. I like to set the front with a roller, especially when she has that nice full bang look in the front. So we're just gonna set this like so. And then we're actually going to use a curling iron and do a faux blowout look. I love doing it this way because it's a lot faster, and the bioprogramming curl puts a really nice shine and a really nice finish in the hair. Okay, so we're just gonna go in section by section and do a really nice faux blowout look. I like to use our line 1 creaseless clips when we are doing the sectioning because it does not create any creases, which is helpful. And then we're just gonna take our bioprogramming hair on curl, and we're really gonna act like we are doing a blowout when we're finishing it off, because I don't want it curled. I just want a nice little bouncy finish on it. So we're just gonna wrap it up starting at the root. And we're just really looking to keep those ends nipped into the curling iron so that we can have a nice finish on it. So when you set the section, you're really just wrapping it widely around your hands. And then you can use your fingers to spread it a bit and then just gently clip it. So this is the sectioning for the classic blowout look. You just go 1, 2, 3 on the sides. Okay, so we've gone ahead and finished up the back of the head. A pro tip when you're doing this faux blowout style would be to make sure on these top sections that you're setting the natural hair with one row of the extension. So you wouldn't want it to be all on its own up here. You really want to make sure that you're blending it with the top layer to get the ultimate blend and the style that you're looking for. So really there wasn't that many sections. We did 3 on the left front, 2 on the right front, 1 big one in the nape, and then 2 in the next sections. So we're just going to let this cool off for a few minutes, and then we're gonna pull it out and show you her final result. Here we are.
Oh my gosh.
It looks so gorgeous.
I'm obsessed. That is too good. I can't believe it. It's perfect.
So this is really what you're looking for when you do the tape extension application. You can't tell where her hair stops or the extensions start. She really wanted it to not be super full. She wanted it to match the density of her hair. So we really did our best to put in kind of the least amount of extensions that she would need while still getting it to blend. And I think we crushed it. It looks gorgeous. Thank you guys so much for joining us for Olivia's tape extension transformation. I absolutely love our Line 1 seamless tapes. They've been such a lifesaver for me behind the chair to do those really quick transformations when you don't have a lot of hours to do the individuals on. A lot of clients also really prefer them when they're done right. They can be so amazing, so comfortable for clients. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it helps you behind the chair to make more money, to give your clients the looks that they're looking for, and to really just become that extension expert that I know you can be.